Hey guys, just back with another daily market update for the Friday close. So this is just an update after the Friday close. Pretty much what I was looking at last time is I was looking at a short on the euro and the Great British Pound. So I did end up getting a little bit. There was a short here. Let's make that smaller. So there was a short right there. It opened up at 251. And then had a low of 943, so it was about 30 pips on this. It was pretty good for one session, and ended up continuing down later on, which was great. So basically, what am I using on the chart? I'm using basically a MACD that's pretty close to the default settings. So if you guys want to follow along, you guys can use a MACD. Just a default one's fine. I'm also using some moving averages, some shorter period moving averages, and then I also have a 20 moving average as well. So you guys can add some moving averages to your chart and a MACD. So basically, I'm just looking for momentum. So let's just talk about what to look for Sunday. So on Sunday we have US Canadian pretty bullish, showing some strong bullish volatility. That might be nice to short into on Sunday if we can get some momentum, get some bearish momentum. We just have the signal cross on the MACD. It doesn't mean that it can't just continue down. It all depends how it opens up. At this point, anything can happen on Sunday. You have to wait till the candle opens up. I don't recommend trying to predict before the candle opens. So see how the candle opens. I am using just normal candles. And a bearish inflection on the MACD towards negative infinity or negative would be good. And pretty much just looking to, so that would be great. So just watching for that. Also the US dollar against the Swiss franc has also shown some bullish volatility. Pretty strong bullish volatility that could be shorted later on Sunday perhaps, if we do have some bearish momentum on the MACD. Right now it hasn't shown any inflection, so at this point I'm still waiting. Once you see an inflection, so the MACD indicator is very powerful, probably one of the best indicators out there, to be honest. So if there is a bearish inflection, that could continue down. What would be the target? The target would be maybe, right now there's a pretty big gap, so once it opens, if there's a bearish inflection, it all depends, because these numbers will change when the candle opens. It'll move closer to the moving averages. So perhaps what could be like 40 pips or 50 pips now could be only 20 later on. 20 or 30 pips, so it all depends, really. It pretty much all depends on how when the candle opens, what the data is showing. So you have to wait till what the data is showing. Right now it's closed, so we can't see. The Australian dollar against the US also had a very bearish sell-off into the New York close. There's also lots of potential for a long here. Like as you can see, when we had big sell-offs in recently, what happened after the big sell-off? Well, we had a major move again. Or not a major move, but at least 20, 30 pips, right? 20, 30 pips there, and then another. This one was bigger here. That's 20, so 60, 70 pips on that one, with continuation of more than 100 pips. So for me, I usually just trade to I basically just try to stay towards the lower moving averages. If I try to make the higher moving averages my targets, then that might not always happen. See, like for example, it didn't move to the 20 SMA, which is a blue line, for a long time, right? So sometimes it takes a while to reconnect to the 20 SMA. So if you're expecting to connect to the 20 SMA all the time, that's pretty much, it's not going to happen. So anyways, we have, we'll just move on to the New Zealand dollar against the US dollar. Also had pretty much the same thing as Australian dollar. It's heavy sell pressure, could look for a bearish move on Sunday. Or later on, so just wait for the momentum on the MACD. That's always the best thing. So that's what I'm looking for. That's pretty much what to be watching for on Sunday. Right now, pretty much just crypto is open, which is pretty much just low volume. So the euro, there isn't too much of a gap right now. Let's see, closing 0.05. It's pretty much neutral right now. Like in my eyes, it's pretty neutral. Someone else might be like, yeah, it's bearish or it's bullish, but for me, for pretty much just like for at least a whole day or so, for me, I'm just looking for moves during throughout the day. Like I'm looking for a move that could last maybe 4 hours, 8 hours, sometimes maybe 12 or 16 hours, nothing longer than that. Depends, like if it's really slow then it could take longer, but usually that's pretty much what I've been looking at now. So pretty much in the session, that seems to be working out pretty good for me. If I go for daily moves, sometimes they take longer, so I just stick with the 4-hour chart. And I've also been coding this into an EA with the MACD, so I've been making a bot out of it. So you guys I'll show you guys some of that stuff later on if you're interested. So we have the US against the Japanese yen, pretty neutral as well. Little bit of a gap, maybe 20 pips, but nothing too. It's still something, I guess, but nothing too crazy. Like for example, here we had a gap of, what was that closed at? 144. No, actually, is that similar? Close at 144.493. And right now we're at 1778. Okay, maybe not. Maybe there is something there, so we could see a short later on. A little bit more, but for example, the US Canadian and the US Swiss franc and the Australian and the New Zealand looks like it has better potential than this pair. So I'll probably hold off on this. And that should be the main basket, so there's 7 pairs in the main basket. We went over all of them. Actually, we didn't go over the pound, did we? Right now there's not too much of a gap to be watching for at this time. Pretty neutral like the euro. Had quite a strong move up, as you can see. MACD starting to get a little bearish there. Especially that candle, which really dumped. However much that was, 112. 200 pip dump on that one, just in one candle. So the Great British Pound usually is the most volatile pair, it seems. Maybe perhaps because it's still the one to make the most money on. It's the most, well, it's not too much as expensive as it used to be, like when it was like $1.70 back in the day, or $1.50, $1.40 more recently. But I guess it's the one that people you can make the most money on, I guess. Spreads are always a little bit more higher than Euro USD though, so Euro USD is the cheapest pair to trade usually. The brokerage I work for, they have the cheapest spreads. They have one of the cheapest spreads out there. I've only seen one other broker that was cheaper than them, to be honest. So they're second on my ultimate list. But I think they're more reputable than the other one. So they're pretty much, I know all the execution speeds they're all normal. So they're the biggest broker in Hong Kong. I think it's Top One Markets. They're the biggest broker in Taiwan as well. Thailand, Singapore. I don't know if they are in Singapore. I think they are in Singapore, but they're not. They don't have as many clients. Malaysia, I believe they're big. They're huge in Malaysia as well. So check them out. You guys can download the app if you want and follow me in the community for my articles. For my real-time articles, pretty much do a daily analysis on there. So yeah, so you guys can check it out. Just download the Top One Markets app if you want. You can follow me in community. My name's Ilyas, and you guys can check it out. So yeah, you can just follow my profile if you want to get all my updates. So that's the foreign exchange market right now for major currencies. For Bitcoin, it's open right now. Pretty neutral right now, to be honest. Looks like the MACD is forming some bear signals for the signal cross at least. Looks like that candle would have been the nicest one to get. So it was closed at, what was it? Close at, actually no, sorry, I'm looking at the wrong thing. This one would have, closing here would have been, so close at 19769. Then we had a low of 481. So there was some to grab on that one. Usually, to be honest, crypto seems a bit more manipulated, so it's more for the... It seems like it's more manipulated. There's like... It's not as... Like, for example, for the algorithms, they work the best on the major currencies. I noticed for Bitcoin, sometimes there's a lot of manipulation. Like, if something should be going down, it's kind of like either gets lagged or it goes the other way sometimes. But you still can't trade it. For Ethereum, pretty much the same thing. Pretty neutral right now, pretty close to those moving averages. Nothing to, not like when it's like down here, right? Like for example here, it drifted really far below, and then that was an opportunity to buy because it was so deep. So yeah, pretty much that's it. I have some more cryptos for the crypto nuts. We'll go over those after I added some. You guys can recommend some if you got whatever you guys want me to analyze or like do updates on, or to kind of like forecast for the, if there's any potential moves on there for the session or for the next session. Just leave your comments in the comments below if you want me to look at anything for you guys. So just let me know. So yeah, so it is still a small channel, starting to grow a little bit more recently. So I think my subscribers have kind of doubled it, maybe with the last few trading videos. So yeah, I hope you guys like the content. If whatever you guys want to see, just let me know. Let's see what else we can look at. Probably the stock indexes, so I'll go for the NASDAQ 100. Looks like it went short. It's unfortunately it hasn't actually maintained any levels. It's pretty much just been going down and down and down with the rates. That could probably change. We could see some, maybe a few weeks of green. But for now, from a day trading perspective, we'll probably see some bullish movement maybe on Sunday. If we get, because it's kind of gapped down pretty far here at this point, so we could see some connections back to the top. let's see. So yeah, so we might get, perhaps if we get a bullish signal on Sunday, I'd advise to take it if you still see a gap. Perhaps you could see maybe 200 points or less, maybe 150 points. So that's the S&P, no, is that, no, the NASDAQ 100 E-minis. Let's see, so it's just basically just the index, so it's the NASDAQ 100 futures. They run outside of the normal stock index hours, which are like the New York session hours. So they run around the clock when the market's like Monday to Friday. They're open 24, the E-mini futures. They pretty much just track the stock, the whole stock index, all the companies on there, 100 companies, I think. And for the S&P, so it's just a average of all the companies. You can buy and sell the whole thing, the whole index. For the S&P 500, it has also seen kind of a far gap down. We could see some potential movement back up. For example, this showed up, like as you can see, like these candles, they dumped pretty hard, and then they had some movement, some bullish movement back up. When the MACD inflected, that gave the signal. So just watch your MACD. You could see some good signals. Yeah, so you could get a good trade in. So just watch. That's S&P 500. So oil, we've been declining today again, $79 a barrel. We had a low last week of $75 a barrel. That was the lowest lows seen since January. So that was the lowest price of oil since January 2022. We went up to 82 and looks like we came back down to 79, 78. So perhaps we could continue to see some bearish movement next week, perhaps break the low of 76. Would we break the low of 76? Let's have a look. Well, I mentioned it in one of my articles, but we had the MACD crossing right now. Like, this is the first month that it's been crossing down. So look how long it was crossed. Like, it was in a cross up since, like, it first crossed up in November 2020. So this could be a long bearish phase. Like, imagine if it crossed down for another 2 years, we could see, 40, maybe even back down to the 30s, $20 a barrel. Probably not, maybe $30 a barrel we could see. That might be pushing it. I think maybe $40 a barrel would probably be better. Not right now, of course, it's a slow process. Like, it could take a year or two. Maybe you get down to 50 and cross back up, right? So for now, we know that it's bearish. The MACD has definitely given a bearish signal. Still above the 200. I believe we're still above the 200. We're still above the 200. What do you call it? SMA, simple moving average. If we do get below the I'll do another video on this, on trend filtering. But if we do get below the 200 daily moving average, that would be very bearish. On the daily chart, banks would be looking to short oil. So this is a sign that definitely the monthly MACD crossing is definitely a bearish sign. So watch out, this could be dumping pretty hard over the next few months, perhaps long term. I definitely think we get to 50s, maybe into 40s after a long time. OPEC, they even released a statement themselves stating that they're seeing the lowest demand in oil in a very, very long time, several years, and even an economic crisis. So it's in one of my articles on my Top 1 Markets app. You guys can check that out, or somewhere, maybe even on the YouTube. The post about oil, it was in the last few weeks. I wrote that, an article on it, so you guys check it out. It's really good. If you're looking at oil fundamentals, we'll make some videos later on how to read an oil report, an inventory count report, how to read the Oklahoma Cushing's oil count. I'll teach you guys how to read a rig count and all that. So we'll talk about that, more videos for the future. We'll also do fundamentals, how to read a Forex economic report, or like just an economic report related to Forex or the market. So we'll go over that as well. So those are 2 videos I'll probably be doing within the next little bit. How to read an oil report and more economic fundamental stuff. So basically we know that the US dollar has been strong, as you can see. Pretty neutral right now as far as the DXY itself, which is kind of strange because some of the pairs actually had a big impact. That's pretty much not like, it's not correlated to this exactly. That can happen from time to time. We have gold, maybe a little bit of bullish. Actually, not really. It's honestly not much gap at all. Honestly, I don't really watch gold too much, to be honest. I'd rather stick with currencies. But it looks like it could, I don't want to say, to be honest, I don't want to say something that could be off, because I don't really, it looks pretty neutral, to be honest, at this point. Nothing too good. Like, for example, here that was a little bit better. We had a gap of maybe, 15 points or so. But really no signal till late, so that could be showing that there's less volume, that you maybe want to stay away. Because if that had inflected there, that would have shown that there's lots of bullish volume. Sometimes the volume itself isn't a very good, honestly I never even use it. So yeah, so that's it. For the crypto nuts, we have XRP as well. Let's see, so it's open right now. That was a huge gap up. That would have been an alright signal. Open at 48929. Low of 719. So yeah, that would have been a nice signal. Perhaps there's some good volume with this right now because it's kind of in the, like, I don't know if it's in the news, but if I'm sure lots of people know, lots of banks know that it had the move up. So yeah, it might be one to watch this weekend if you're watching for a move. If that dumps down here, perhaps, maybe continues to dump, then you can maybe look to buy back up for a day trade. So just have a look at that. I added some more from the, just based on what was on the Bloomberg page. If you guys have any more recommendations, just let me know what you guys want to see. Litecoin looks pretty neutral right now. AUDUSD, maybe a little bit of move up. So perhaps if it spikes up here, we could see a move back down. A little bit of a move there. Actually, not really, to be honest, because it was a red candle before that. So move up here and the signal back down. So that would have been an okay one. So during the session today, or this morning. So right now it's still pretty neutral. Dash maybe getting pretty bullish. Perhaps you could see maybe a bullish bearish inflection later on. So just watch out for that. Maybe if we get up here, we could see some short movement back down. Bitcoin Cash spiking up here, and then we had the bearish inflection just recently, so that would have been nice if I would have made this video a few hours earlier, but that's alright. So actually that was pretty nice. So we had the spike up, forming the big gap between the moving averages, and then looks like the bearish momentum of the MACD back down, got down even to the 10 SMA, so that would have been pretty good. So it opened at 122.21, closed at 119.84, had a low of 119.42, so that would have been nice. So yeah, so there you go. If you guys want to see more daily market analysis, and you guys want to see more coding videos or trading strategy videos, bots or anything, investing, coding related, you guys can subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care.